Being a student at ICT is very interesting. You just don't get to learn the technical part of things, but you are also provided a vision on how things get implemented in industry. For early career professionals like us, we are always very excited about new things and new ideas. But something that needs to be understood is there has been so much discussion around funds being available, but not knowing how to use those funds.
Hello and welcome to Biologics Platform Conversations, where we engage with the experts advancing the scientific and manufacturing the next generation therapies in India and beyond. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Mr. Mihir Chheda, a viral vector process development leader with deep expertise across the lentiviral, retroviral, and the AAV platforms, spanning upstream, downstream, and fill finish operations. Mir currently heads the viral vector process development and MSAT at Immuneel Therapeutics, where he leads the lentiviral platform development. A recipient of multiple industry awards, Mir was also selected for the Young Leaders Program in Biologics 2025, reflecting his impact and leadership in the cell and gene therapy space. It's my pleasure to welcome you on our podcast, sir.
Thank you.
Before we begin with the questions, I would like to know what has been your background and how the journey up till this has been for you.
Sure. So I did my undergrad at ICT. I am a chemical engineer by training. And since doing my undergrad, I went to the US. I completed my master's in chemical and biomolecular engineering at US. Since my master's, I started working in the industry. And I was very fortunate to start with the cell and gene therapy industry itself because at the time when I was in US, this industry was really booming. So I was fortunate to get into the industry. I worked across, I started with CDMOs, and we worked for almost top 20 CDMOs working on gene therapies in US. Then moved across product development companies such as Takeda, and most recently at Kite Pharma.
Oh,
And
that's
since then,
great.
I've moved back to India.
Yeah, you have had a very unique journey, I would say, from being a student at ICT to now contributing to one of the most advanced scientific frontiers. So, how did your time at ICT shape your perspective on the CGT profession that you currently lead?
Yeah. So being a student at ICT is very interesting. You just don't get to learn the technical part of things, but you are also provided a vision on how things get implemented in industry.
Like the
So at
practicality.
the practicality of it and the applications part of it and also the economics part of it.
Okay.
So I remember courses from Dr. Gaikar, Dr. Pandit sir. He taught us economics, and then Ratnesh sir was someone who introduced biotechnology to the chemical engineering folks like us, and that got me very interested into applying my chemical engineering skills into biologics, and that's how I went to the US. I got into the cell and gene therapy industry, and since then I've been in the same field.
So you have went from bench to the boardroom. So what are some key inflection points in your career that helped you to navigate from academic routes to impactful roles in the biopharma industry that you rightly serve?
Right. So as I said, I started with working at a CDMO where we were working with the top 20 gene therapy companies based out of US. We were doing really cutting edge work for them where the industry had just started. But then I always had a question of what do the companies at the other hand have in mind and what do they see? So I learned the technical part at the CDMO at Catalent. But when I moved into the product development companies, I also started understanding the regulatory aspect of things of how the process that we develop converts into a product from clinic to actually being commercial. That's what I have learned at Takeda, where we were doing a lot of preclinical molecules, but then at Kite Pharma, where we were working more on the commercial product side of things, how process improvements are done to your products that actually lead to their approval as well. So having that end-to-end understanding had really got me from where I was in academia to industry, and then slowly getting into learning the business end of things and aligning my strategic understanding around it. Because
Yes.
in industry, it's always about not just technical part of things, but timelines, execution, and actually getting approvals for things.
Yeah.
So that's something that I gained throughout my years, which I would say has been another inflection point where
Yes.
now I have good understanding of my technical capabilities, but also the business aspects and where these technical capabilities actually translate
Yes.
into a product.
And that becomes something important, a crucial part of the whole journey.
Right.
And you have played an early role in shaping the Young Leaders program, I would say. And in your view, what core mindsets or capabilities should the program instill, have, like in the early career professions? They should have these things.
Right. So, for early career professionals like us, we are always very excited and about new things and
Yes.
new ideas. But something that needs to be understood is accountability and ownership matter more than having ideas or just trying to execute on certain ideas, because that's what will take your ideas forward. And what industry really looks for is reproducibility and robustness in your processes to get it into manufacturing. So understanding the end-to-end journey of a product life cycle from innovation or drug discovery to actually being approved is something that's more critical.
Okay, like going from the very start, the A to Z, from the very
Exactly. So
end.
having building on that understanding is really critical.
So, what kind of ideas do you have to like grow the YLP into a national movement, if you have to say, across the domains like CGT, biosimilars, or even the AI in biologics?
No, that's a great point. One thing, as you had mentioned, these are some specific core areas
Yes.
that India needs to excel on. So, having specific groups of YLP across these core domains will help build that understanding across people and also share their learnings across within the teams for the specific domains. But at the same time, having some mentorship programs within industry, as well as regulatory, because I see this conference brings in a lot of people not just from industry but also from regulatory. So trying to have some mentorship program for the young leaders can really help excel the country's innovation from what we are right now to the next stage that we are planning.
Yes, definitely. And when we talk particularly about CGT field, is very capital intensive, I would say. But India has talent and scientific excellence. So, what do you think is needed to make India a true CGT innovation hub?
Yes. So in the morning session, also, what we realized is India has already lost the MAB race.
Yeah.
The monoclonal antibodies, we are way behind. We are focused more on biosimilars. The next generation of therapeutics is something we can more so focus on, and maybe we can catch up speed on as well. And a part of that is ADCs and CGT. And around those fronts, I think India is putting a lot of efforts, but somewhere we need to have maybe a combined facilities where multiple industries or multiple companies can come and work together. Or let's say to get a batch done for their preclinical run, maybe there has to be certain biofoundry that is probably a concept that regulatory is working on, or government is working on. I think that is something of a more essence that can actually help accelerate the timelines of development from clinic or from research to clinic and
Yes.
commercialization.
And now that you talk about the bridging the gap between the industry, academia, and also the young innovators that we have, what kind of advice or practical steps you would like to recommend for the students or the postdoc people to prepare for the real world innovation in the field of emerging CGT?
Yes. So, always I would say that whenever you're doing your PhD or postdocs, try and spend some time in the industry as well. Try to do some internships. And when you are doing internships in industry, try to learn what are the different departments in the industry and how they align across each other to build that entire ecosystem within that company.
Yes.
So having an understanding of how each department works and how they work in tandem
Yeah.
to get things across is really important.
Definitely. I couldn't agree more to this because everything is connected and that is what you learn from it. Last but not the least, before we wrap up the whole conversation, we
Yeah.
have 3 quick questions, kind of
Okay.
a rapid fire for you. So I just need your instinctive answer for those questions. So the first would be one book or lesson that transformed your thinking.
So understanding that it's not just about the process development, but also understanding the end-to-end ownership of something where you take a product from development to actually understanding how regulatory works
Yes.
and making that process into very a robust process that can be repeatably done in within manufacturing is
Okay.
something that I learned and I would still keep in mind.
That's great. One belief you wish more young professionals held.
uh, I would say ownership and execution.
Okay.
Because as I mentioned earlier, youngsters, we have a lot of ideas to work upon, but then sticking on to them, taking ownership of those and executing them in the right way is really important.
Definitely. One way the biologics platform can empower the next generational innovators.
Yeah, I think we the conference is already doing that, is
Yeah.
bridging the gap between industry and government, and that is going to be even more essential going forward, where there has been so much discussion around funds being available, but not knowing how to use those funds. So I
Yes.
feel this conference is the right way to bridge that gap between government, venture capitalists, and the fund managers, and the industry as well as academia on how we could bring these molecules from clinic to actually being commercially ready for the people of India and abroad.
Definitely. All those words speaks the truth that you have had a really wonderful experience, and definitely all the young innovators will look forward for your words and they learn from you all the advice that you gave. It was wonderful having the conversation with you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you
I
for
hope you
having me
enjoyed
here.
the conversation
Yeah,
too.
definitely. Thank you
You
so
so
much.
much.